What's up everybody, my name is Dwight and welcome back to GeForce Garage. Today we built an insane Horde chest PC mod for actor and mega Warcraft fan Kristian Nairn.
Hey, I'm Kristian Nairn. You may know me from HBO's Game of Thrones. I'm an actor and I'm also a DJ and a musician. I've always been a pretty prolific gamer as well. I started way back when I was a kid, 10 or 12 years old. I started with an Atari 800XL with a little cartridge port. My mum always wanted me to have some sort of educational value, so I never had a pure console. That moved on to a PC and I played Doom on that, and it never really worked properly because my computer was like a word processor. That's when I found Warcraft, or maybe Warcraft found me. I love the concept of going to a fantasy world where magic really exists. I'm here today at NVIDIA because they got in touch with me quite a while ago and they offered to build me a rig. I've seen little snippets of it and it looks awesome. So I can't wait to see it. I can't wait for you to see it either.
Before we dive into the details of this build, let's talk a little bit about the history of this project. A couple years back, Kristian took to Twitter for info on upgrading his gaming experience. With Kristian being from Northern Ireland, we put him in contact with Dave DeVito Libido Alcock, a British modder we first met in Mod in Taiwan in 2016. After a couple of conversations, we were able to determine that Kristian could use more than just an incremental upgrade and was ready for something truly epic. And that's where Ron Lee Christensen of Blue Horse Studios comes in. We had a couple of ideas, including an open air design, but once we showed Kristian that we could put a computer inside of a Horde chest, we knew that was the direction to go in, and this collaboration would result in something amazing. Did you just find a chest like out buried in the woods, like a buried treasure or something, and then just start working on that?
Yeah,
or
no. I got approached by NVIDIA back in 2018. We had a few different ideas and he chose obviously the Horde chest. And so we went from like a case mod to almost like a scratch build. So over the next 6-8 months, we went through several different design iterations to come up with something that's going to be, functional, but also really cool that he can put on his desk. We just took the motherboard frame and scrapped pretty much the rest of the case and just used that as the frame for all the hardware and then sculpted everything around it.
So how'd you go about making this case?
So we started with MDF frame, and then I just went into using some basswood, which is a very dense wood, but also soft. Used that to create the outer frame, and then I used poplar wood for all the little shiplap paneling that goes all the way around it. Stapled that on, carved that as well, and then added all the little panel rivets that I picked up in Indonesia. The metal effects that go around the case, that's just sculpting foam with 2-part epoxy clay over the top of it. Epoxy clay is just a sculpting clay. You mix the 2 parts together and it hardens like a rock once it cures.
Nice. It's pretty tight in there. How did you get all the water cooling parts and everything to fit?
When we were talking about the build and we got the case, basically Ron just said to me, don't go outside the confines of the case. So water cooling has been a challenge. We used the Alphacool parts and everything they can get there was just like little versions of everything that was big. We also made custom reservoir mounts, custom pump mounts. There's not much cable routing space, so we got the Dremels out, we got the saws out, and I cut holes in it, made custom cables so they fit through the cable grommets. So there's quite a few changes inside, but hopefully they're all clean changes so it doesn't look too custom. We try and keep that just clean and tidy, really.
All right, so you built the computer on the inside and you built the case on the outside, but you both live on opposite sides of the world. So how'd you even manage to make that work?
That was probably the only difficult part of the build is, Dave being in the UK and me here in the States, is that we're 8-10 hours apart, and he's texting me in the middle of the night and I'm texting him in the middle of the night. And usually when you're working, you need an answer right away, so you got to stop and wait for an answer before you can move ahead. Well, one of the things that we ran into a problem here just recently was when we first started talking about the hardware was way back in the first part of the project. Well, I didn't cut the power supply hole until about a month ago. I cut the hole for a standard power supply, not an SFX power supply. So once we got Dave here to the States, he had to re-sleeve a whole new power supply overnight. And we had to run around the valley to find proper cables and connectors and depinning tools. Those are fun challenges though. I mean, and it creates great relationships. It's like I haven't seen Dave since Mod in Taiwan, and we've got a great excuse to hang out, right?
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, what are the actual components inside the case?
So for the case, we use the Raijintek Paean M, which is an M80X case. For the motherboard, we used the ASUS Z390, and with that we paired the 9900K from Intel. We've got 32GB of G.SKILL TridentZ RAM. For the water cooling, obviously we used Alphacool. We've actually just released a new XPX block, which is the XPX Edge Aurora, and we've put that inside. And we've also got the GeForce RTX 2080 Ti powering the whole thing.
All right, well, it looks awesome and very obviously is going to crush WoW. How about we pick it up and go see what Kristian thinks?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, Kristian, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, open your eyes.
Oh, no way. Guys, you're insane.
Why don't we open it?
Oh,
Go ahead.
Oh, no way. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen. This is incredible. Thank you. Honestly, it felt like a child at Christmas. It was like seeing the bike you'd waited for so long. It's just beyond my expectations, and from what you guys have been saying, I obviously was expecting something pretty awesome, but it's so real. It looks like it's been lifted out of the game. I love the rivets, and knowing the backstory now that they come from like Indonesia, and like it's a special type of wood, and like all the special effects are built on top of that real, genuine wood. And I love the underlights, and it's gonna look so cool in my room. It's a really nice fuse of old-fashioned and like really cool technology. Now that I have this PC, I am looking forward to running Warcraft at the highest possible resolution instead of the lowest. I might look into some VR stuff as well, which I'm really keen to try. Yeah, I'm just going to try and push it as much as possible.
Well, Kristian, I hope you enjoy playing World of Warcraft Classic on your Horde chest when you're not too busy touring. I highly recommend checking out his website to get more information on his Rave of Thrones tour. Also, thanks to Alphacool, Corsair, and Intel for making this possible. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button down below, and we'll see you for the next one.